Good morning students. So in today's video I am carrying forward the third chapter, current electricity. Okay, before watching this video I'll just suggest you, if you are not perfect in the things which I discussed in the last class, you just pause this video and watch that video. Okay, so if you revise those things, so today's video will be, or today's class will be much easier for you. Okay, so today I am discussing some further topics which are coming in the current electricity. Okay, so in last class we have studied the basic but important things in the current electricity. So there we have studied how current electricity is producing, or from where current electricity is producing, what are the things that are causing for the current electricity we have studied. After that we have studied some important features of current electricity, or we have defined current electricity in a proper manner. After that we have studied some conditions. After that we have studied how current electricity behaves with respect to the electric field, or how free electrons are moving with respect to the electric field. And after that we have studied some properties which free electrons possess while they are moving in a conductor. Okay, let me revise those things for some time. Okay, so current electricity is nothing but in a conductor when free electrons are moving. Okay, when free electrons are moving in a conductor. Let's consider a conductor. If in this conductor free electrons are moving, they will constitute an electric current. This is the basic meaning of electric current, and by that we have defined electric current as I is equal to Q divided by T, where Q is electric charge and T is time. Okay, and this I is electric current. And also we have how we have defined electric current. Try to recall the definition. We have defined electric current as, this is rate of flow of electric charge with respect to time. Rate of flow of electric charge with respect to time. And also we have given SI unit for electric current, that is ampere. And also we have defined ampere as a current in a conductor is said to be 1 ampere when 1 coulomb of electric charge flows through it in 1 second time. When 1 coulomb of electric charge flows through in a conductor in 1 second time, there we can say that current in that conductor is 1 ampere. Okay, these all things we have studied. And also we have told that electric current is a scalar quantity because it will not obey vector the laws of vector, or it will not obey vector laws. Okay, so after that I have told you two conditions where the current electricity, if current electricity is moving in a conductor, it should satisfy two conditions. What are those? There should be a conducting path between the 2 points. I have told it in the last video. If in a conductor current is moving, there should be a path. Obviously, if there is a path, then only current can move. And there should be potential difference between the 2 points. If current is flowing from this point to this point, there should be potential difference between these 2 points. Then only current can flow through the conductor. So these are the some conditions. Okay, and initially only I told the electric charges are moving or free electrons are moving, then only they can generate current electricity. So how they will generate current electricity? In a conductor, in this conductor, free electrons are moving. How free electrons are moving? They are moving in a random direction. In any direction they can move. So in this case we are not applying any electric field. So here electric field is equal to 0. Here electric field is 0. But in the second case, what I am doing, to this conductor I am applying some electric field. Electric field is not equal to 0. Some electric field we are applying to this particular conductor in this direction, in a particular direction. So at that time what happens? All the electrons will move in a particular direction. This I have discussed in the last video. I am just recalling the things. Okay, so here electric field is moving in this direction, and corresponding to that the electrons are moving in this direction, means opposite direction. So these free electrons will generate a electric current in the conductor. These things we have discussed in the last class. So this is the phenomena which is going to take place when current electricity is generated in a particular conductor. So, and I told you, in conductor only the current can flow, because the conductor will allow the current to pass through them. Okay. So after this, what we have studied? We have studied some important features, important properties which this current electricity is possessing. So only one thing we have studied there, that was drift velocity. So in the last class, what we have studied? The property of moving free electrons, or the property of electricity. When the free electrons are moving in a conductor, they will possess some properties. Among them, we have studied the first one, that was drift velocity, and we have denoted it as Vd. Okay, and also we have defined it. Drift velocity means in the conductor what's happening? Electrons are moving, and you know, every moving thing will possess some velocity, it will possess some speed. So like that, in a conductor, when electrons are moving, they also will possess some velocity. So the same velocity, we are calling it as a drift velocity. So how can we define it? Drift velocity is a average velocity of electrons moving in a conductor. So how we are taking it as a average velocity, means velocity of all the free electrons in that conductor we are considering. So drift velocity is a average velocity with which the electrons, the free electrons, are moving in a conductor. And how they are moving? As I told you, if electric field is in this direction, the electrons are moving in this direction. So how can we frame the definition? The average velocity with which free electrons in a conductor are moving in a direction opposite to electric field. In a direction opposite to electric field. So what your definition will be? The average velocity with which free electrons in a conductor are moving in a direction opposite to the electric field. So in that class, we have given the expression for Vd, that is expression for drift velocity, as E into E divided by m into tau. This was the expression for drift velocity. And also we have derived this expression. How we got this expression? We have done one derivation also, by taking the force, F is equal to minus E into E. What is this force means? In a conductor, if electrons are moving, they will experience a force. The electrons in a conductor will experience a force, that is minus E into E. Why minus sign means? The direction of the electron is opposite to the direction of the electric field. That's why we have taken the minus sign here. And if those electrons are moving in a conductor, they will possess velocity. That only we call it as a drift velocity. If they are giving velocity, they can also have acceleration. So that acceleration I can give it as F divided by m. Now you may ask, from where this will come, this expression will come. I told you in the last class only. From the Newton's laws, we have F is equal to mv. From here we got this. Okay, so this F I am replacing by minus E into E divided by m. Okay, so this I am putting in the which equations? Try to remember. There I have used equation of motion. What is the equation of motion? V is equal to u plus at. This was first equation of motion. So like that we have two more equations of motion also. But here we are using first equation of motion. V is equal to u plus at. Okay. So this u as it is, instead of V I am using here Vd, because we have drift velocity. A we have minus E divided by E into m into, here T is there, instead of we have tau. Relaxation time we have. What is that relaxation time? The time in which electron is colliding with the vibrating ion in the conductor. This is the time between two successive collisions of electrons and the vibrating ions. That we can take it. We are taking it as a tau. Okay. So here we don't have any initial velocity. U is what? Initial velocity. Cancel it. So we have Vd is equal to minus E into E divided by m into tau. So when I take mod Vd, this will remove. This is removed. So we have the expression for Vd. This derivation we have done in the last class only. I am just revising. Okay. Be perfect in the things which are discussed in the last class. Then only go for the second video. Okay. So up to this we have studied in the last class. Okay. So I told you, when free electrons are moving in a conductor, they will possess some properties. Among them, the drift velocity you have studied. One more important property of the free electrons is mobility, which we can denote as mu. Okay. When the free electrons are moving in a conductor, they will have mobility, which is denoted by mu. So what mobility is this? We can define mobility of the free electrons as the ratio of drift velocity to the applied electric field. How we can define mobility? The ratio of drift velocity of the free electrons in a conductor to the applied field. Here you are applying the field, electric field. To the conductor you are applying the electric field. Then only electrons are moving in a direction opposite to the electric field. Then only current is coming. Okay. So this is essential for the flow of electrons in a conductor. So here what we are taking for the mobility, mu is equal to Vd divided by E. What Vd is drift velocity of free electrons in a conductor, and E is applied electric field. So mobility can be defined as the ratio of drift velocity of free electrons in a conductor to the applied electric field. So this is the definition for mobility. We can explain it further because we know the value of Vd. Okay. So what is the value of Vd? Mu is equal to E into E divided by m into tau. This is the value of Vd. But here we have E. One more E we have in the expression for mobility. So let's cancel. So what the expression for mobility will obtain? E into tau divided by m. This is the expression for mobility. This is also one important factor, which is called as mobility. It can be defined as the ratio of drift velocity of free electrons of the conductor to the applied electric field, and its expression is E into tau divided by m, where E is electric charge, tau is relaxation time, and m is mass of the electrons. Okay. So after discussing these two important properties of the current electricity, I am going to discuss relation between drift velocity and electric current. Okay, we have studied individually about drift velocity also and current electricity also. Okay, so now I am deriving a derivation which gives us the relation between Vd and I. So for that, as usual, what I have to do? I have to consider a conductor. Here I am considering a current carrying conductor. Up to now I was telling you I am considering a conductor, but here I am considering a current carrying conductor. So what is the meaning of current carrying? In this, current is flowing, current is moving in this. So current is moving means which things are moving? Electrons are moving. And how electrons are moving? In a direction opposite to the applied electric field. So if you are saying this is a current carrying conductor, there should be a electric field. Okay, so that's why we are considering a current carrying conductor. So this current carrying conductor is having some length L, and it is having some area of cross section A. So to this current carrying conductor, we are applying a potential difference, capital V. Okay, so this current carrying conductor is having a length L, area of cross section A, and to this we are applying a potential difference V. Okay, so here in this current carrying conductor, electrons are moving. We know that electrons are moving, but how many electrons are moving, we don't know. Okay, let n number of electrons may be moving there. Okay, so let's consider n be the number of electrons moving in this conductor per unit volume. What is n? N be the number of electrons moving in this conductor per unit volume. So now I want the total number of electrons in the whole conductor. What is n? Number of electrons per unit volume, for per unit volume. But here to the whole volume I want to calculate the total number of electrons. So for that what I have to do? I have to calculate total number of electrons in this conductor. So here total number of electrons in the conductor can be obtained as n into volume of the conductor. N into volume of the conductor will give us capital N, that is total number of free electrons moving in this conductor. So how can we define the volume of this conductor? So this conductor is in cylindrical shape. Volume of the cylinder we have to consider. Volume of cylinder is area of base surface into height. So here we have area A, and instead of height we are having the dimension L here. So let's consider A into L as the volume of the conductor. So what we will obtain? We have obtained the total number of electrons, total number of free electrons moving in this conductor is N into Al. Okay. So now the every electron moving in this conductor is having a magnitude E. Every electron or every free electron moving in this conductor is nothing but a charge. So it is having a magnitude E. So the total number of charges moving in this conductor, the total number of charges moving in this conductor are given as N into E. Total number of charges moving in the conductor equal to total number of free electrons into magnitude of every charge. Total charges moving in the conductor equal to total number of free electrons into magnitude of the charge. So here we have considered only free electrons. We have not added magnitude of the charge there. That's why we have considered Q is equal to N into E. And what is the value of N? You know, N A L into T. So this is what Q. Let's call it as the equation number 1. Okay. Now these electrons are moving in a conductor, means they are moving with respect to some time. In the initial only I told you current electricity is nothing but what? Rate of flow of charges with respect to time. So these charges are moving here, means they are compulsorily having some time t. So now we have to calculate that time t. So how to calculate the time t? We don't have any data with respect to t, but we know the formula for velocity. What is formula for velocity? That is displacement into time. Formula for velocity is displacement into time. So where displacement is here, displacement is nothing but what? Change of position from one place to another place. Here electrons are moving from this point to this point. Any electron starts from here and its motion at this point. So this is nothing but the displacement. Okay, this is nothing but what? Displacement. So at the place of displacement, what we have here? L. So the L, the length of the conductor can be the displacement of the electrons. So instead of displacement, what I will use here? L. Okay, but here velocity. Which velocity these electrons are possessing? They are possessing drift velocity. Okay, and displacement is nothing but L, and time is t. Okay, so by this can you calculate the time now? How can you calculate? T is equal to L divided by Vd. Call this as equation number 2. So in the equation number 1, what we obtained? Q, the total number of charges moving in the conductor, and in the equation number 2, T, the time with respect to the time the conductors are taking to flow in the time the electrons are taking to flow in this conductor. Okay, so by using these two equations, we can obtain the current, the total current of the conductor as Q divided by T. Total current is Q divided by T. Okay, so Q is nothing but what? N A L E, and T is L divided by VD. T is L divided by VD. Okay, so this L get cancelled. So I is equal to what will obtain? N A E. This VD will come into the numerator. So N A E into VD. So this expression will give us the relation between current, the relation between electric current and the drift velocity, isn't it? In this we have electric current also and drift velocity also. Okay, so this is I is equal to N A E into VD. This expression gives the relation between electric current and the drift velocity. So this is the one of the important derivations. Okay, so far we have discussed some important properties of free electrons. Okay, as I told you earlier, this chapter current electricity will give us the nature of charges, the nature of electric current, and the principles on which electric current works, the devices which will use the current to operate. All those things we are studying in detail in this chapter. Okay, so when current is moving in a conductor, that is one phenomenon, that is one physical phenomena we can say. What exactly the physics is there in that? What exactly the physical mechanism is there in that we have to study. Okay, that is given by the German scientist G.S. Ohm. G.S. Ohm, George Simon Ohm, was a German scientist who gave the physical phenomena responsible for the flow of charges in a conductor. If charges are moving in a conductor, what exactly the physical phenomena is there? Which physical phenomena is responsible for that process? That is given by George Simon Ohm in his well-known law, which is called as Ohm's law. This is a basic law regarding current electricity. Basic law regarding current electricity, important law in current electricity, or you can say important and well-known law in physics. Okay, so this is Ohm's law, which will explain us the physical phenomena responsible for the flow of electric charges in a conductor. Okay, so now let's state the law by its statement. So what is a statement of Ohm's law means? Here we are studying Ohm's law. What is statement of Ohm's law means? Ohm's law states that the current flowing through a conductor, is directly proportional to the potential difference across the conductor. So here what we are considering the conductor, in that current is flowing. Current flowing in that conductor is I, and that conductor is supplied with some potential difference V. Okay, so Ohm's law states that the current flowing in a conductor, through a conductor is directly proportional to the potential difference across the conductor when the physical conditions remains constant. Physical conditions in that conductor means that may be the pressure of that conductor, that may be the temperature of the conductor, that may be the volume of the conductor, anything it may be. But all the physical conditions of that conductor should remain constant. At that time only the current flowing through a conductor is directly proportional to the potential difference across the conductor. You can also write it like V directly proportional to I. Okay, so to remove this proportionality sign, what I will use there? Equality with respect to one constant. So here R is a constant given by Ohm's law. R is a constant which is used to remove this proportionality sign. So this is the general form of Ohm's law. V is equal to Ri is general form of Ohm's law. Okay, so what Ohm's law states? The current flowing through a conductor is directly proportional to the potential difference across the conductor when the physical conditions of that conductor remains constant. Okay, so here we have explained the law like this, but we are observing one more thing, that Ohm's law will give us one new parameter. Ohm's law will give us one new parameter. Up to here we have not discussed about R. Okay, but Ohm's law is giving us a new parameter to the current electricity, that is called as R. So how can we define R? R is equal to V divided by I. Okay, so this R is called as what? Electrical resistance or resistance of the conductor. R is a proportionality constant. It is called as a resistivity of the conductor or electrical resistance. Okay, so about this we will discuss. Okay, but we need to know that this Ohm's law we are stating, we are explaining, that's okay. But Ohm's law will holds good only for some particular situations. Okay, that means what? Ohm's law is having some limitations too. Either it's having its own importance, but it is having some limitations. So what are the limitations means? The first limitation of Ohm's law is the Ohm's law is applicable only for the conductors. Okay, so in conductors only current can flow. So when there is a current, then only the Ohm's law is there. So obviously the first limitation of the Ohm's law will always be the Ohm's law is applicable only for the conductors. So when we think of conductors, we will more think about metals. So we can say the first limitation of Ohm's law as the Ohm's law is applicable only for metallic conductors. First limitation is what? Ohm's law is applicable only for metallic conductors. So what is second? The second limitation. Second limitation of Ohm's law is it is applicable only at moderate temperatures. Moderate temperature means what? Not very high temperature, not very low temperature, medium, or you can say moderate. So Ohm's law is applicable only at, Ohm's law holds good only at moderate temperature. Okay. So the third thing is, in the statement only we told Ohm's law holds good only when the physical conditions of that conductor remains constant. That may be temperature, pressure, volume, density, dimensions, anything. But that conductor's physical conditions should remain constant. So this is the third limitation. Ohm's law holds good only when the physical conditions remains constant. The last thing, Ohm's law Ohm's law is not applicable for semiconductors. So in the first condition only we told it holds good only for conductors. So, but it is not applicable for semiconductors, not applicable for discharge tubes, not applicable for electrolytes, vacuum tubes, anything. Okay, so this is not applicable for semiconductors, electrolytes, vacuum tubes, discharge tubes, electrolytes, etc. Okay, so these are the four limitations of Ohm's law. Ohm's law is applicable only for metallic conductors. Ohm's law is applicable only at moderate temperature. Ohm's law is applicable, Ohm's law holds good when the physical conditions remains constant, and it is not applicable for semiconductors, discharge tubes, etc. Okay, so these are the four limitations of Ohm's law. And one more thing, we can observe Ohm's law in our physics lab also. We are having so many devices in our physics lab. Okay, you might have seen your physics lab in the first year. So we have used so many equipments over there. so many electrical equipments over there. Okay, so in that equipments also, some of the equipments or some of the apparatus, I can say, some of the devices are using Ohm's law. Means on Ohm's law they are working. On the principle of Ohm's law they are working. But which are they? We have to know. Okay, so the things or the materials in which Ohm's law is applicable, they are called as what? Ohmic devices. The material or the devices, we can say, on which in which Ohm's law is applicable, they are called as ohmic devices. In that what happens? So Ohm's law is applicable means in that I is directly proportional to V. Means as current of that conductor increasing, the potential difference is also increasing. As current is decreasing, potential difference is also decreasing. So this law, so in which devices this thing fits, they are called as ohmic devices. The materials in which Ohm's law is applicable are called as ohmic devices. We have ammeter, we have voltmeter, we have resistor, and to find small currents we use galvanometer. All those things are ohmic devices. In that devices Ohm's law is applicable. But the things on which Ohm's law is not applicable, they are called as non-ohmic devices. So in that diode, transistor, LED, filament lamp, all the things are there. On that Ohm's law is not applicable. So that's why they are called as non-ohmic device. So this is brief introduction or brief explanation about Ohm's law. And the thing I told you in that Ohm's law is not only an important law in the current electricity, but it also given us one important parameter, R. So R is a important parameter which is given by Ohm's law. So this R is nothing but what? Resistance. R is nothing but what? Resistance. Electrical resistance, which is denoted by R. Okay. So in one conductor, free electrons are moving without any disturbance. They are moving, then only they can form electric current. But what if something created which stops electrons? The electrons are moving in their way, but something happened so that electrons are stopped. Then the electric current or the current electricity is not flowing in that conductor. The flow of current is completely stopped over there. Na? So they created one opposition to the flow of the current. So that opposition is nothing but what? Resistance. Resistance is one property which opposes. What it opposes? The flow of the free electrons it opposes. It resists the flow of the free electrons in a conductor. So this is a property by which the free electrons are opposed. The movement of the free electron is opposed in a conductor. This is a opposition offered to the flow of the free electrons in a conductor. This is nothing but just one property of the conductor. But this property will oppose, this property will resist the movement of the free electrons in a conductor. Understood? So how can we define this? We understood the meaning. So how can we define this? By Ohm's law only we obtain R is equal to V divided by I. So how can we define the resistor? This is the ratio of potential difference across the conductor to the current flowing through the conductor. So how can we define resistance? The ratio of potential difference across the conductor to the current flowing or current moving through the conductor. Okay, so this is having SI unit of this resistance is ohm, denoted as ohm. So whenever you say one device is having this much resistance, 2 ohm, 3 ohm, 5 ohm, how can we write? 5 ohm, 3 ohm, 10 ohm, like this. So there is one apparatus in our lab, resistor. So particular resistor is having particular resistance. So that resistances we can denote like this. Okay. So in the next video again we study in detail about all these things. We'll explain the further things in the next video. Okay. Watch the video carefully. If you have any doubts, ask me. Okay. stay home, stay safe.